While picking the reserves for the All-Star game, LeBron couldn't help but have a little fun when it came to selecting a crosstown rival. Check out exactly what he said on this pick.
This is the only time I'll root for this guy or this team because we are enemies. Nah, just making fun of it. But I'm going with Paul George, PG-13, from the Los Angeles Clippers.
We are enemies, but he said it with a smile. I like that. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us this morning. So, Chris, are you surprised LeBron picked Paul George here?
I'm not surprised, and I thought LeBron was totally joking around. He had a great night. He was joking all the time. And if he had said that a year ago, I might have thought there was some seriousness to it and some truth underneath it. Because let's face it, last year, there was more of an aura about the Clippers. You know, there was this veil of intrigue about them, and they had people all throughout the league, including myself, thinking that they were the best team in basketball. You know, Kawhi Leonard was coming from Toronto off the championship. Paul George had just gotten to L.A. He hadn't had last year's playoff struggles, so we didn't know about that. They had Montrezl Harrell and Pat Beverly. They were supposed to have these dogs. They had a championship coach. I mean, the Clippers were the team. Very rarely do we see a team that's the team to beat without having won a championship, and they were that last year. But all of that was blown up in the bubble. And now I think to LeBron and the Lakers, they're just another team. Yeah, they're in L.A., okay, we know they're coming after us, but I think they're pretty much just another team that we have to beat and that the Lakers feel very confident that they'll beat. So I think LeBron was joking totally about the enemies comment. No worries, no fears about Paul George. Look, they know they're good, and they have to be taken seriously, but it is not like last year. And furthermore, let's face it, guys, at that point, who else was there to pick? Rudy Gobert, he isn't going to shine in an all-star game. I get him going last.
Exactly.
Domantas Sabonis, Nick Vucevic. I mean, only one left was Donovan Mitchell. And so I'm not surprised at all. I think LeBron was probably surprised PG-13 was still there, so he went ahead and took it.
I agree with you, Chris. That's great value with the ninth pick. I mean, LeBron got it with his ninth pick. And normally big guys don't shine in an all-star game. You got to go way back to Shaq. When we talk about Skip, you talk about big guys that have won the all-star game MVP, because you were talking about it yesterday, Skip, although Anthony Davis won in his hometown of New Orleans when he played with the Pelicans. I mean, we don't look at AD as a true big. We look at him as a forward. We only count true centers. So Embiid, Gobert, Vucevic, Nikola Jokic, obviously Embiid and Jokic had already gone. So I thought LeBron got great value for PG. And here's the ironic thing about this. Guess what? PG go get 3 quarters. We're not going to let him in the fourth quarter, so he can't monk it up. So long as you keep him out of the fourth quarter, Chris, you going to be good. We already got this thing in the work. PG, you going to get your minutes in the first 3 quarters, and then we going to shut this thing down for you, bro. So, I look, the Clippers have always wanted a rivalry. You know how sometimes it is, Chris, you always try to pick on somebody. You always try to, because, you know, if I mention his name, that way my name get talked about because I mentioned his name. Because sometimes the only time somebody can mention you is if they say something bad about somebody else. And that seems to be what the Clippers like to do. But anyway, we picked him, Skip. That just goes to show you we're not afraid of you. We just not gonna let you play in the fourth quarter and muck up our chances of winning, and we're gonna be good. But for the ninth pick, I agree, Chris. That was great value. Skip make it seem like he picked the guy with the 4th pick in the draft, or he's a starter. No, we got him way on down the line. We had an opportunity to get him before we took Dame. He didn't do that. He took 3 other guys before he took Paul George. Say, you know what? I'll throw him a bone. That should let him know what people. KD didn't take it. KD could have took him early too. KD didn't take it. Why didn't he take it? But we threw him a little bone so we didn't feel bad. You know, hey, you all-star, bro. Come on over here with Team Bron and win this thing. But you won't be playing in the fourth quarter.
So you continue to say we took him or we didn't take him. Did you confer with LeBron before he made these picks? I don't know. Did you advise him?
All that.
Yeah. Okay.
Team LeBron, coached by Team Shannon, gonna win on Sunday.
Okay. I got 2 cases on the underdog KD's team with no KD. Now, back to the question at hand.
We already met.
Yeah, I got it. I just wanted to solidify that pick, validate it. The point is, in the same circumstance, Michael Jordan would have never taken Paul George because Michael would have such disdain for Paul George. He would look down on Paul George, who has become the biggest object of ridicule in the entire NBA this year, that there's no way he would have taken Pandemic P over Donovan Mitchell at that point. And I still say there's some fear in LeBron's heart of the Clippers because in stretches this year, despite everything that my friend Chris Broussard just said, they have had long stretches where they have looked like the best team in basketball this year. And I'm going to remind you, I know it seems like forever ago, but on opening night, PG-13 hung 33 on LeBron and company, and he made 5 of 8 threes and just went crazy in the third quarter and basically blew the Lakers off their floor in the third quarter of that game, and the Clippers won handily. So don't tell me that LeBron doesn't have some fear of the enemy still living down in the basement, now back in the shadows. And I still believe in the old slogan that I believe LeBron lives by: keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And LeBron knows full well that if he picks Paul, that Paul will think, gee, LeBron chose me. LeBron's such a great guy, and it might take a little edge off Paul's game when they meet again in regular season, or let's hope so in the postseason if the Clippers can get to the Lakers this time. So I think there was method to the madness. I was shocked that he didn't go ahead and take Donovan Mitchell because I think a lot of people think Donovan Mitchell's just better than Paul George because Paul George has proven to be not as mentally strong as a lot of people thought he should be.
Yeah, but you see what PG did in the regular season.
Playing some mind games. But I think I'll get to those a little later. I think he was playing mind games with somebody else. I don't think he's worried at all about playoff P. At all. I mean, if there's one guy with the Clippers that would be of concern, it would be Kawhi Leonard. But Kawhi has struggled mightily in the clutch now. He's shooting 28% in clutch time. They've been outscored by 19 points in Kawhi's clutch minutes. So I don't think LeBron's concerned at all about the Clippers. And the disrespect, guys, and you mentioned it, Skip, about the disrespect for Paul George. I mean, I think LeBron took him out of his misery. I think LeBron felt bad for him. He remembers Paul George from Indiana that used to give the Miami Heat Big Three some problems. And he's like, my goodness, how the mighty have fallen. I mean, you had Ben Simmons, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, all going before Paul George. Is Zion Williamson going before Paul George? I think LeBron felt bad for my man and said, let me get playoff P out of his misery. My goodness.
So you're saying, Chris, he took pity. Is that right? He took pity on Paul George.
Yeah, that's what we saying.
Playoff P was that low.
I could, and I will. And Skip, hold on. When have you seen Paul George do in the postseason what he did to opening night to the Lakers? And I keep telling you, I'm sleeping. I'm hibernating. I'm like one of them Alaskan grizzly bears. I'm hibernating. Wake me up when he does that in the fourth quarter in playoff games. Wake me up when he does that. And I want to say something last night. Chris, you remember last year, they scapegoated Doc Rivers. They lost 5, 6, and 7 because Kawhi said we need guys with better IQ. We need to be put in situations. And Paul George threw Doc under the bus. In the same situations that lost them the game in 5, 6, and 7, they've lost basically every game this year in which they've been in those situations. Have big leads. They team get close in the fourth quarter and bust their head. With Kawhi Leonard standing on the free throw line when Russ came in and got that rebound, all they had to do is get the rebound. They had 6 seconds on the clock. All Kawhi had to do was get the rebound. Now, let LeBron James have done that, standing on the free throw line, and let a little 6-foot guard come in there and get the rebound, Chris. What would have been said this morning? But he ain't mentioned that. Skip Bayless pretend he didn't see Kawhi, and then Kawhi throw his hand up like, what happened? You didn't get the rebound. That's what happened.
Well, wait a second. LeBron didn't play in the last game before the All-Star break at Sacramento when his team lost without him, right? So
yeah.
Can't defend LeBron.
Your team lost to the Wizards with Kawhi.
What, 7 games, 8 games? Kawhi's missed like
he want to talk about LeBron missing 1 game.
Okay. Just wait until the Clippers get healthy because they do have a coach named Ty Lue. I think that's his name. Is it Ty Lue? Once upon a time, I think he helped LeBron win a championship.